go right and jump right into why you guys are here. And as always, we're going to start with our quote for the week. Okay, in honor of Black History Month, this week's quote actually comes from Jesse Owens. And what Jesse said is that we all have dreams. In order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. I really like this quote because what Jesse says in this quote doesn't just apply to athletes that are in the Olympics, it applies to all of us. If your goal is to build a strong insurance business, you must follow Jesse's advice here and stay dedicated to your dreams. Determine and accept that it's going to take a whole lot of work and effort in order for you to get there. So if Jesse can do something as incredible as what he did in 1936, you guys can definitely hit your goals, but it is going to take some work and it is going to take some determination. So a nice reminder that if we want something, we have to work for it. With that said, welcome again, my friends, to Motivation Monday. And I am very, very happy that you guys are here with me. As always, we're going to first start off our meeting with our tips for the week. Then we're going to go straight into a little reward and recognition. This is one of my favorite things with our sales shout outs. And then last but not least, we're going to have our sales topic for the week, which will be remembering the basics, a guide to selling more to your potential clients. Let's first start off with our tips for the week. I want to just remind everyone that if you missed one of our Motivation Monday meetings, or if you would like to rewatch a meeting, you can do so by catching it on the AHCP webpage. The location is located on your screen right now down at the bottom. In addition to Motivational Monday information, you also have helpful product training videos, carrier videos, as well as sales training videos and a lot more. So please check it out if you haven't done so already. It's a lot of helpful things that you can look at a self-pace where you don't have to be on a time schedule. You can do it when it's convenient for you, and I think you will find it very helpful. I want to remind everyone that on Wednesday, February 9th at 10:30 till 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, there will be a Medicare training on special needs plans. In this webinar, the instructor is going to be taking a closer look at how special need plans work and the qualifications that are required in order to be in this plan. You do need to register for the training, and the training registration happens at the ahcpsales.com/training/site. So you just go there and you can register for the training. Now for my favorite part of the training, and that is the reward and recognition. This is where we get to see what was selling and who actually was doing all of the selling. We're going to be looking at the week of, or I shouldn't say all of the selling, because there's a lot of people that had some really, really good weeks, but who are the top 3 and top 2 in certain categories. We're going to be looking at the week of January 31st. And it looks like Nat Gen had a really, really strong week in short-term medical, as well as limited med, critical illness, and dental, whereas United Health did an excellent job with their accident plan. As far as our folks out there that were selling the most in certain categories. We're going to first start off with the short-term medical category. And it's my girl, I see her here all the time, Katia Santa Maria. She is just doing fabulous things. She's always on our leaderboard. She's doing fabulous things out there. And then second up, we have Max Weinstein, and then Anthony Bertarelli. I don't want to butcher that name. And in limited med sales, Katia is right back on the charts. And then there's William Bruder. And then in accident sales, we had Cody Randanzo and Lonnie Embry. Congratulations, guys, to having such a strong week during the week of the 31st. So we're going to talk about going back to the basics. This was one of those things that was inspired by something when I was preparing for today's meeting, and it was inspired really by something I once heard from Vince Lombardi. And for those of you who don't know who Vince Lombardi is, he's one of the greatest coaches of all times. And I heard a story where the Green Bay Packers football team were all gathered together for first day of training camp. And they were with Vince Lombardi because he was their coach. The previous season, they had ended with a heartbreaking defeat when the Packers, they really squandered a lead late in the fourth quarter and lost the NFL championship game to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Vince, in talking to his players, took nothing for granted. He started his training with these incredible athletes, people that have been doing this all their life with a blank slate. He started with the basics. During this training camp that I'm talking about, he began with the most elemental statements of all. He said to them, "Gentlemen, holding in my hand right now is a football." And of course, these guys knew what a football was, but Vince wasn't taking anything for granted. Vince continued to cover the fundamentals in the training camp, where he talked also about blocking and tackling. And he opened up his playbook and started from page 1. Vince was talking to his men and really preparing them for a stronger game, because he knew that the fundamentals is what made the difference between winners and those who were not winning. Well, needless to say, Vince Lombardi his team went on to become the best in the league at tasks that a lot of people take for granted. So with that whole story inspired me, because a lot of times we have what I call this rubber band effect. And when we first get started, the rubber band is really taut and we're raring to go. But then as we make 100, 200, 300 calls a day, the rubber band gets a little bit lax and we're not sticking with those basic fundamentals. So we're going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of what we do in order to help our clients. And we're going to take that from the comparison of the ACA plan versus the short-term medical plan, and how supplements fit all into that. The first thing, however, that we have to do is we have to investigate in order to educate. So Lisa, what do you mean by investigating to educate? What I mean is that we have to confidently, and I say that strongly, we have to confidently gather information from our clients. The investigating to educate part really encompasses, the more we know, the better we're able to explain it to our clients. The more our clients know, the more likely they will buy. So it's very important for us to ask those nosy questions in order to make sure that we are helping our clients properly. So what are some of those nosy questions? We're talking about where they live, specifically their zip code, their date of birth, any medications that they're taking, not taking anything for granted, listing them all to make sure that when they're purchasing their medications from pharmacies, they're getting them from within networks that will give them the discounts that they need. Any existing health conditions, that's very important for us to know. What are their current premiums, deductibles, or copay, or what do they want their premiums in copay and deductibles to look like? Really having a conversation with them. And I usually like to start my conversation just by asking them, what is important to you? What is it that you're looking for on this plan? And then next, who's going to be on the plan? And then finally, I like to get some idea of their household income because I want to know if they qualify for a subsidy with the ACA plan. So in continuing with this, going back to the basics, we're going to actually talk a little bit about the Affordable Care Act and what are the components of the Affordable Care Act and who is the Affordable Care Act normally best for. Now, this is a general rule. This isn't a blanket slate. This is just something in general, who this plan fits best for. But let's first talk about the components of the Affordable Care Act. First of all, the Affordable Care Act is a guaranteed issue plan. You can't be turned down from this particular plan. In addition to that, benefits for pre-existing conditions are available. So you can have someone that is very ill still qualify for one of these plans. There are no lifetime coverage limits with these plans. So once again, for those expensive illnesses, there's no lifetime limits that members have to worry about. There are 4 metallic plans, the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the platinum. The shinier the metal, the better the plan. I must admit though, the platinum plan is quickly phasing out. And the reason why it's phasing out is just the plan is getting really expensive to have. The MOOP on these plans are pretty high, $8,700 for an individual, $17,400 for a family. You do need, in order for this plan to be considered a major med plan, it does have to cover the essential health benefits. This is part of the list, but if you want the full list, you can easily go to healthcare.gov in order to get the full list. Next thing we have up is 80% medical loss ratio. What does that mean? For every dollar that is taken in premiums, 80 cents have to go toward claims. So that leaves only 20% to run things like operations, light, gas, salaries, administration, even your commission. All of that has to come out of 20%. That's part of the reason why, like I said, those platinum plans are fading away because carriers are just finding them too expensive in order to maintain. And then finally, subsidies. With the ACA plans, depending on your client's income, they may qualify for a subsidy. So when I talk about subsidy is that free money that you can get from the government to help pay for your premium. Now, to give you guys an example, if you're a family of 6 making, say, $70,000, you may qualify for a subsidy. However, if you are a CEO of a company making $2 million a year, I would say don't count on it. You're not going to necessarily qualify for a subsidy. So who are these plans normally good for? Most of these plans are really good for those people who have those expensive illnesses where they can't qualify for any other types of insurance that is out there just because of those illnesses. The other thing, another clue when you're dealing with clients that you think might qualify for an affordable care plan is if they qualify for a subsidy. If they qualify for that subsidy, it can make that plan a lot more affordable for that individual. So those are the two main things that I look at when I'm looking at this plan. Do they have any expensive illnesses, expensive medications that we need to cover, as well as do they qualify for a subsidy? Now, when it comes to enrolling in this plan, you do have enrollment starts on November 1st and it ends on December 15th, unless you have what's called a QLE, a qualified life event. So really, you only have 45 days to be able to sign up for this particular plan, unless you have, like I said, that QLE or qualified life event. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that term, that is when things like if you get loss of coverage, maybe somebody lost their job, maybe someone is turning 26 and they're no longer going to be on their parents' plan. Maybe there was a change in the household, a brand new baby was born, or somebody got married. Changes in residency, specifically the zip code. That's why I asked for the zip code on the prior screen. If someone is becoming a citizen or maybe leaving incarceration, those are excellent options as well to qualify for that QLE. So let's talk a little bit about short-term medical plans here. Short-term medical insurance covers short-term medical plans, they vary really greatly depending on the plan and the insurance company as well as the state. These type of plans, they are not required to comply with the Affordable Care Act guidelines. As I stated earlier, the ACA plan, they are required to provide certain levels of coverage, meaning that minimum essential coverage. Short-term medical health plans are not required to meet those same standards. Short-term medical plans are also typically, so that you guys know the type of coverage, they typically provide great coverage when it comes to preventative care, doctor visits, urgent care, and emergency care, depending on the carrier that you're dealing with. Some of the plans may even cover prescription costs as well. So who are these plans good for? Who are you looking at when you're trying to determine who fits best into a short-term medical plan? Maybe someone wanting longer-term stability with their renewal options. Short-term plans aren't short like they used to be. In the past, short-term medical plans were less than a year, I would say. Now, short-term plans can be anywhere from 30 days to 3 years, depending on the carrier. And then you can also have next day availability with these plans. Now, I told you earlier about the ACA plan. The ACA plan only has a 45-day open enrollment period. You can enroll your client into a short-term medical plan anytime during the year, whenever they need it. Another person or client who would be a great option for a short-term plan would be somebody who don't want to pay the high cost of ACA plans. Like I said, that the MOOP on an ACA plan is $8,700 for an individual, over $17,000 for a family. That's a lot of money, considering that the average household household has a savings account of $1,000. So that can be a nice chunk of change for someone when looking at the ACA plan. The short-term medical plan can help create a more budget-friendly option. Maybe they're waiting for their Affordable Care Act to begin, or they missed that open enrollment and don't have a qualifying event that will allow them to get insurance. And that happens often. If someone misses that open enrollment, they are they're out of luck, because they have to wait until the end of the year to apply for during the next open enrollment for the following year. So that can be very troublesome for some people. Then maybe they are between jobs and they need to meet a waiting period requirement. Maybe there's a gap, they left their job and they're waiting for their Medicare to kick in, and so they need some kind of coverage during that time. Another pretty popular one is that someone losing coverage from a divorce. A lot of times they are also looking for some kind of insurance, and a short-term medical plan can be a great option for them. So we've talked about the ACA plan and we've talked about the short-term medical plan. And usually those are the two medical plans you're going to, or healthcare coverage plans that you're going to look for your clients. There is also that fixed benefit that's an option. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but that is also a third option that you can also look at because it can be sold as a standalone option, but typically you're looking at either a short-term plan or an ACA plan. The next thing we want to do is we want to fill the gaps. Every plan that is out there really have gaps, whether it's an ACA plan or a short-term medical plan, they have gaps. And what I mean by gaps is that they have holes in it where you're trying to help reduce your clients' out-of-pocket costs, such as that MOOP or their deductible or their copay. You can help them get those things covered through a supplement plan. And really, my suggestion to you guys is when you're asking those questions, make sure you're asking questions to see which supplement plan will be best suited for them. So when we're talking about supplemental plans, we're talking about those accident medical plans, great for people who have children. Children are always having accidents and, they can be expensive to take care of. Having that plan is going to give them that security. Critical illness, accident, death, and dismemberment, cancer, heart attack, stroke, hospital indemnities, life insurance, fixed benefit plans. That's what I was talking to you guys about earlier. Those are first dollar benefit plans that help pay for costs based on the covered things that are within the plan. You can sell that fixed benefit plan as a standalone product, or you can sell it as a supplemental product. They work great as both. And of course, everyone wants to have pearly whites, good teeth, no cavities, all that good stuff. Want to be able to hear and see pretty well. So we want to always talk to them about that dental, vision, and hearing plan. Now, you guys, just remember, the first time you talk to your client, don't get disappointed. When you first talk to them, a lot of times they are most interested in their health coverage. They're not interested in the supplemental plans right away. But if you present it well, if you present it as a package, you're likely to sell it as a package. If you present it as a standalone, then it's going to be taken that way. But if you find yourself during a time with a client and you weren't able to sell the supplement plan, say like this past open enrollment, and you signed up some folks with ACA plans and short-term medical plans, and you weren't able to sell them the supplements, now is a great time to go back to those individuals and start talking to them about their supplement plan. They're starting to maybe pay their premiums for their healthcare plans. They know what their budget is like. They're feeling comfortable. They're finding more disposable cash. Now you want to circle back around, and it's really a courtesy call. You're just calling, making sure that they don't have any questions regarding their healthcare plan. But then in addition to that, you want to let them know there's some things that I can help you fill the gap and help with those unexpected expenses, or those expensive expenses, such as the MOOP or the deductible and things like that. So we're going to look at an example, a scenario of how this really can benefit. someone, and I'm going to introduce you guys to John here. John, he went in for a routine checkup and he finds out that he has colon cancer. And I feel so sorry for John, but John is smiling, so something good happened. So he went in for this routine checkup. He found out he had cancer. He has a short-term medical plan with the $5,000 deductible and 100% coinsurance. That means that $5,000 deductible, after he pays that, 100% of his cost for coverage is going to be at 100%. So here's the breakdown of what's going to happen with John because he purchased a cancer and heart stroke benefit. So his benefit for his cancer, heart and stroke is $50,000. His treatment cost from the hospital was $14,019. His short-term medical plan, it paid out $9,019. The cancer, heart attack, and stroke, it paid out that $50,000, which left him with a remaining benefit of only $45,000. That $45,000 is John's money. It's going to go to John. That's why they have those beautiful smiles on their face. They can go on a vacation. They can do whatever they want with that money because it's theirs, because they purchased that cancer, heart attack, and stroke. So if you're not doing something like this for your clients, please consider it, because this is really the right thing to do for your client, and it is a great way to protect them. So on our final slide, we're going to talk about why should we as agents all bundle or package sale? It's really a simple idea, but it's often neglected. And I think it's often neglected because we're so focused on making sure that we get them into the right medical plan, as we should be. But we need to take it with a little bit more effort to make sure we're helping them with more than what they expected. And the benefit of that is that you're going to be building strong relationships with your clients. Your clients are going to trust you because you're not selling them something just to be selling them something. That would be awful. You're not just trying to make an extra buck by selling them something. That will catch up with you. If you're doing it right and you're giving your clients what they need based on the questions that you asked in the very beginning, you're going to be having those strong relationships. We talked about how you can reduce that maximum out-of-pocket expense that your clients have to deal with. Client retention, they will come back to you every single time because you did right by them. So by getting them into the right major med or short-term medical, and then adding that the benefits of the supplements is just going to help with that client retention. You're going to obviously grow your business because all of your clients are going to tell everybody they know about you and what you were able to do for them. And then it also creates stickiness. And this was how I thought when I was selling at my prime. I wanted to have as many products sold to my clients as possible because that makes it harder for them to leave. The more sticky things are, the more things you sell to them, the harder for them to leave. If they have an accident plan, a short-term medical plan, a dental plan, a cancer, heart attack, and stroke, and another agent was to call them up and say, hey, how is your healthcare plan working out for you? They're going to be really slow to want to change anything because all of the other things you have wrapped in there has made it just that much difficult for them to leave. And then finally, as I stated earlier, it's just the right thing to do for your client because it's going to help them. And ultimately, it does help you too, in the sense that you're going to earn more commission. And who doesn't want to earn more commission? All right, guys, that is going to do it for me today. I hope the information that I shared with you today, taking you back through the basics. I know it was a new concept because normally we're talking about all the sales behaviors, but I think it's really important for us to be strong on the fundamentals in order for us to build on that. So I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed having you guys here with me today. If you have any questions, if you need any additional information, don't hesitate to reach out to us at training@ahcpsales.com, or you can call the 1-877 number that is listed on your screen. Everyone, please be blessed. Take care of yourself, and we will see you next time.